The problem that Democrats have is that for some groups, identity politics has been their main line of trying to offer things. And if you take away the identity politics, it's not clear what keeps them remaining in the Democratic Party.
One of the things that you mentioned in this piece, and we've run a couple of pieces on this, is this idea that's coming out of sort of the, I don't know, what do you want to call it? The sort of progressive intelligentsia. It's like Matt Iglesias and Ezra Klein, some of these folks. It's the abundance theory, I guess, and the idea that Democrats have to produce all sorts of things, right? Infrastructure and the like, and to be seen as a party that actually promotes abundance for everyone. Do I have that right, or what am I missing?
Yeah, I mean, I think what it really points to is sort of a fissure in the Democratic Party and on the left. In the 70s, one of the things to their credit that they're honest about, and this is actually something that like the likes of Newt Gingrich were promoting in kind of the Contract with America era. It's the idea that to actually get things done, to build things in America, there have been so many environmental and other roadblocks thrown up that it's impossible to actually do what you want to do. They point to the failure of President Biden's infrastructure bill. We were supposed to have however many thousand charging stations set up by now under it.
And getting all these homes wired to the internet.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, because there's so much red tape that environmental and anti-growth interest groups can throw up that it keeps anything from meaningfully being accomplished. And so their idea, and again, credit to them for pointing off some of the trade-offs within the Democratic coalition, but their idea is that, look, to actually get elected, we can't be the degrowth party. Like, we have to be a party that actually provides things for people and provides people with a good way to live and improved standard of living. What really comes down to, though, is in the wake of this loss on the part of Democrats to Donald Trump, Democrats are really kind of questioning, for the first time in a long time, what type of party they want to be and how to kind of get themselves back on track.
So, one of the things it seems like, in one vein of argument, and I think Ezra Klein and folks probably fall into line with this a little bit, is that take the emphasis off of identity politics and not so much along slicing the electorate into all of these different identity groups and trying to please them and appease them with various policies, but promote, again, as Adam Schiff said, and his line on Bill Maher the other day, the party that can get shit done, right? Was they need to be the ones who can do affordable housing, and they can do all these things that make life better for everyone, regardless of what your race or creed is. To me, that seems like a smart thing, but is that really what the progressive base wants? We just talked yesterday about how, right, AOC and Bernie are out west and doing these rallies and getting response. But is that the direction that they're leading the party in? Is that the right way?
Well, so AOC and Bernie, it's interesting because over the years, some of the sharpest criticisms of identity politics have actually come from the Marxists, right? The takedown of the 1619 project came from was published in the like Workers Weekly World or something. The organ of the Trotskyites. They're apparently still around. Because if you're on kind of the class left, you see these identity politics as distractions from the real cleavage in society, which is class. And so I don't know that I'd put Bernie Sanders and AOC in the abundance category because they are more share the wealth. But they're another kind of criticism of the identity politics that's gone on the left. Now, the problem that the Democrats have is that for some groups, identity politics has been their main line of trying to offer things. Over the past 20 or 30 years. And if you take away the identity politics, it's not clear what keeps them remaining in the Democratic Party. So as with all kind of intercoalitional disputes, it's a question of trade-offs and how can you kind of build the strongest coalition moving forward.
And what, I mean, in your opinion, and again, you follow this stuff closely, like what is the best, if you were advising the Democratic Party, if they called you up and said, Sean Trende, we need your wisdom here. What should we do? What's a 3-point plan that would be the best path back to being a majority that holds power in the United States, what would you tell them?
Well, look, these majorities tend to take care of themselves, right? I mean, Donald Trump, here we are 2 months into his term. He's already net negative in an approval rating. There's another election coming up in 20 months, and the Democrats will probably get the House. I mean, they'll have to pick up a couple seats, and there's only been three times in recent U.S. history where the out party did not pick up seats. But in the big picture, so in the big picture, I don't think it matters. Democrats will win their elections. They have to decide what type of party they want to be, though. Do they want to be a coalition like they were before of wealthy whites and kind of poor minorities trying to hold that together? Do they want to be this coalition that seems to be emerging of the wealthy whites and then upper middle class suburbanites who tend to be liberal? That's a very different policy emphasis than the old Democratic coalition had. Do they want to try to win back the working class white voters? Like ultimately, parties are like the management of a team, and they try to attract fans. Who are the voters? And there's a whole bunch of different ways you can try to get fans to come out to support your team. Democrats have to decide what type of team they want to be.
Yeah, but you make it sound, Sean, as if this is just a choice we have to make, But given what happened in this election, right, with the movement of, can they afford to ignore working class voters? Can they afford to lose the number of Hispanics that they just lost, or continue have that movement continue among working class and maybe even particularly male working class Hispanics, African Americans, white voters? Like, is that even a choice for them? Don't they have to do something along those lines, or they won't be able to take back the majority?
So I spent my first roughly 14 years at RCP fighting that argument from the other side.
The missing
Where
white voters?
the missing white voters, and don't Republicans have to reach out to, do comprehensive immigration reform to win Hispanics? And my answer was always these things tend to take care of themselves. Like Republicans, it's a big country and it's hard to govern. The governing party almost never keeps its coalition together more than a few election cycles. So Republicans, the idea was they can be an inclusive party that tries to base itself in upper middle class approval, and bring over just enough minority voters that way, or they can try to become a working class party, shed some of the suburbanites, but make it up, bringing over working class voters of all races. And they kind of went for option B. And I think the same question now presents itself for Democrats that, governing is hard, recessions come, national security dilemmas come, and they always bring voters over to the other side by doing it. The question is, what type of policies do Democrats want to put forward to shape the coalition that they build?